Welcome, guys, to the Local 23. It's a Magic the Gathering podcast hosted by myself, Matt. If you don't know me, I'm Matt with Gamers Union 23, and my co-host for this channel here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Hector, you can call me Big D.
And this is just a channel where we kind of break down some deck techs. We confess to some misplays at our tables. We like to fire off some hot takes, and we preach better table etiquette. So today we have Hector's Sorin of House Markov, the deck that is taking the internet by storm right now. Is you want to pronounce it as Sorin or Sorin? It's kind of got people torn apart. But Hector, go ahead and run us through. Let's see what this deck does.
All right, so it is definitely Sorin. This is 100% fact. I lived in Romania. Sorin is a Romanian name. Obviously, Vlad the Impaler is Romanian. So if you say Sorin, you're wrong. You can continue to say it if you'd like, but you're wrong. Sorin is an amazing deck. He's an Orzhov commander. All right, so you can see him. You can see my Mox Shield, right?
Yeah,
Everything's
I
showing up
swapped
good.
between the
Okay.
two.
Okay. So he starts out as a creature, right? You can see on the bottom right. And then he flips into a planeswalker. He has extort built in on both sides, and his other side is what gives you access to white, as you can see with the little half black, half white thing, the little yin yang, and next to the legendary planeswalker. But he starts out as a 2-cost commander. Great, very cheap. He has lifelink built in and extort, and then obviously his text at the beginning of your post-combat main phase. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, you can exile him and then return him to the battlefield transformed. And so extort, if you don't know, you cast a spell and you pay either a black or a white extra on top of the original casting cost. You can even do that with Bola Citadel if you don't know this. If you pay uh, for something with life from the top of your deck with Bola Citadel, you can still use extort and add a white or a black mana, but you have to pay mana for the extort. You can't pay life for it. And it'll hit everyone at the table for 1 day. They'll lose 1 life, actually. It's not damage, just lose 1 life, so it gets around protection. And if you still have 3 opponents alive, that'll give you the necessary life to flip him. So, but obviously you're playing a life gain deck, so there's other ways to gain more than 3 life. But then he flips into a planeswalker, which makes things very, very interesting because planeswalkers are a little bit difficult to get rid of. You have to have things that target permanents, not creatures, or specifically planeswalkers. People can swing on him, but we have some ideas for that as well. Plus, his ability, the most important ability in his stuff,
His repertoire.
English, his repertoire, his tool belt, in his pants. His big thing in his pants is his -1. Okay, so it says Syrian Ravenous Neonate deals damage, so he deals damage. This is important, right? It's not just saying deal damage; it's saying he deals damage, which can help us with another card that I have. Um, so you deal damage equal to the amount of life you've gained this turn to any target. So when you're ready to shoot someone with this gun, first of all, it says any target, so you can get rid of creatures that you don't like, and you can get rid of players that you don't like, which is everyone but you.
Or even a planeswalker that you
And
need to deal with.
so, or a planeswalker, exactly. You can kill other planeswalkers. He is the #1 planeswalker, and I'm pretty sure in the lore he's incredibly powerful. So it's very lore accurate, Serene. Um, so you want to make sure that you gain the life that you wanted to gain to shoot them. You can, of course, gain life after and do some other tricks, but you want to keep track of how much life you've gained this entire turn. So if you have things like, Sarah Ascendant swinging and giving you life link, if you have Soul Sisters, things entering the battlefield, you want to keep track of this. But there's a bunch of really, really nasty tricks that I do with this deck that I will go over. Let's go over like the basics and then the one shots. So this deck is a life gain deck. It's going to be gaining you life slowly or in big chunks. When you do the big ones, that's when you're going to shoot someone to kill. So you want to make sure that either Serene is out already, but that is dangerous. Sometimes this is based on your skill. You want to keep him as a creature sometimes, because you don't want, if there's a big board where they have a lot of creatures and can swing on you and you can't defend yourself, you want to keep him as a creature. It does make him vulnerable to, Swords to Plowshares and Past Exiles and board wipes, but he's at least not swingable. He's not a swinger, I guess. He definitely looks like one though. He's got that sexy femboy thing going on.
Oh yeah.
He definitely gets bitches. But so And then you move into a planeswalker if you can defend him, and then you want to be building up his loyalty counters to make him a little bit more immune to being swung on. Plus, it gets you food tokens, and his ultimate is not bad. You can steal a creature permanently and put a lifelink counter on it. I've actually done this by stealing something that's like a 24/24 and putting a lifelink counter on it. That is very, very good. But for the most part, you're using his -1. So the ways that you're slowly gaining life and just being a life gain deck is stuff like the Soul Sisters, Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant, and then there's Ariak Champion. He's like the Soul Brother. So these are the simple, when things enter the battlefield, you gain life, right? And if you pay attention, it says whenever another creature enters, not when one or more. So if 10 things enter at the same time, you gain 10 life. But it's technically 10 different triggers, which is very, very important when you are using this bad boy, Karlov of the Ghost Council. So one of the best opening hands you can have is a Soul Sister or an Auric Champion and a Karlov. Whenever you gain life, put 2/1/1 counters on him. And then you can pay Orzhov and remove 6 of those counters and exile a target creature. So it's a kind of free Swords to Plow, or a infinitely renewable Swords to Plowshares. But if you have a Soul Sister and this guy out, and someone's playing creatures, let's say they play 5 creatures. Well, you're going to gain 5 life, and you're going to gain 10/1/1 counters. Because each instance is a different instance of life gain. So he'll be a 12/12. It's not unheard of for this guy to be a 20/20
Yeah.
with 2 or 3 turns being passed around.
Yeah, Karloff gets big quickly, especially whenever you've got some other your other things that like double your triggers out there.
Yeah, he's absolutely, he gets monsters all the time. He is a problem. So these are your simple life gain things. Turn 1, Sarah Ascendant is just nuts in any deck that's white, to be honest. But especially this, I mean, because you're playing Commander, you start with more than 30 life, so it's a 6/6 flyer lifelink on turn 1. Um, so you're just gaining life slowly and then building this guy up and just, increasing your advantage. But where the deck really, really shines. Oh, and by the way, you can use Ranger Captain of Eos to search for any of these. If you don't know what this is, ETB, he searches for a creature that is value 1 or less, which is any of the ones I just mentioned. And also you can sack him to do a silence, well, a non-creature silence. And then of course I play the real silence. So let's go over the one shots. This is where this deck really, really shines. Okay, so you want to shoot someone with this, how much life I've gained this turn, and kill them. And you can kill the whole table, but for the most part, you're probably just going to be killing one person at a time. So a couple tricks that you can do with this. One of them is with you losing life and then using Children of Corliss. So Children of Corliss is also searchable by Ranger Captain. So it's 1 mana, sacrifice Children of Corliss. You gain life equal to the life you have lost this turn. So if you think about what can make you lose life, we got 2 main choices here. You got Toxic Deluge, right? So you cast it for 3 mana, but then you pay extra life on top of it. You do have to declare the cost on cast. So people are going to see this coming, but luckily it's going to be hard for them to react to. So you're going to wipe the board and just say, let's say you have 40 life. You want to be careful if there's anyone on the board who can ping you with anything. So you don't want to, I recommend not letting yourself go to Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, don't put yourself in lightning bolt range. Keep
Damage.
yourself at like 4.
4, just to be safe. But you never know. If you're playing against people with red, they might have some fling effects. You do need to know what's on the board. Just don't get greedy. Just do what you need to do lethal to one person.
Of course, use
So
your
if
best
someone has
judgment.
32 life, then just take 32 life if you have 44, right? It's not a big deal. You don't need to go all out. That extra 10 life is probably not going to make the biggest difference. But if you want to, go balls to the wall, then go balls to the wall. So you're going to wipe the board. Nothing's going to survive getting -20, -20. And then what you're going to do is you can wipe the board and then, but oh, sorry, you have to sack this holding priority because it'll die if you don't do this. So you have to cast this and then you have to hold priority, which means you're not letting anyone else respond yet. You're going to sacrifice Children of Corliss, and then it's going to put life gain on the stack because you've already lost life casting this, right? So losing life was part of the cast. So even if this doesn't resolve, you're still losing the life. So then you sacrifice this, and then on the stack will be you gaining that life back before the board wipe even resolves, which would kill this. The cool thing about Children of Corliss is that you have to sack it as a cost. So no one can So you cast this, you hold priority, you sack this. Someone can't Swords to Plowshares this guy in response because sacking it was part of the cost. So once you have priority, you cast this, they can't stop this from happening. The only thing they can do is kill you on the stack, which we're going to avoid by not putting ourselves too low. So then, once you've done this, you do need Serene to be a planeswalker at this point because Toxic Deluge is going to kill all the creatures on the board, but he's a planeswalker, so he's going to survive. So definitely make sure he is flipped to this side. Then you've gained whatever 32 life. You -1 him and target someone and shoot them for 32 life. It's usually a one shot.
Yeah, there's been multiple times where I've been killed on turn, 4, 5, 6, just from
Yeah,
Serene
yeah.
gaining it 30x life.
And that is usually my first target if he's at the table, which is a compliment to him. Um, because I need him out of the way. Who do you want to be targeting is whoever's your biggest threat. So the biggest threat to this deck is, I mean, it's very simple. What kills life gain? Well, Voltron commanders, right? So commander damage. It doesn't matter if you have 3,755 life. If someone does 21 commander damage, you are dead. Infect, right? I mean, if anyone's playing Infect at the table, they're going to be the target anyway, so you don't need to worry about that. But yes, Infect, or combo players who are going to go infinite, right? Creature decks are really not going to affect you too much unless obviously they're massive. He's got 10, 25, 25 because of a Creator of Behemoth. Yeah, okay, you need to kill them. Kill whoever is the threat. Or if the threat isn't a threat to you, then kill the person who is a threat to you. Um, nope. Yeah. No. No, do not. You can't be the person who feels bad about killing people. This is probably a good video topic for another time, but just fucking kill people. Like, it's not that's a weird thing to say on YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about. Kill people, remove players from the game. Okay. This guy in this video just told me to go out and kill people. No, okay. You have to just eliminate players. No mercy. It feels bad. I'm like, hey, Matt, I shoot you for 45. And you're just like, well, because there's not really much you can do, right? Because they can do that. Yep. Deflecting palm. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, as soon as that damage is on the stack and it's coming at you, if you don't have a way to redirect it, there's not really a way to stop it. Because it's not necessarily combat damage, so you can't like fog it or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're just getting shot.
Yeah. Maybe a T Pro, a Teferi's protection
Yeah,
would help you.
that could help.
But there's a reason I play silence. You play this when you're about to. I mean, this is a staple in CDH. Like, if you think you're about to win or you're going to do some big damage, you can guarantee it by silencing people. And most people at casual tables, even high powered, are not going to be playing like Otowaras, where
I
they can
play in
bounce
every blue
through.
deck.
Okay, well, that's why I kill Matt first. Ranger Captain of Eos, it silences them for non-creatures, which is the only thing you're really gonna have to be worrying about for the most part. And then I do play Grand Abolisher in
I was gonna
here as
say you
well.
also play Grand Abolisher.
Yeah, so if you don't know what Grand Abolisher is, it
Basically
basically
says
makes
people can't play on your turns.
yeah, people can't do shit on your turns, right? They can't. This is really cool because it's not only spells, but activated abilities of artifacts,
Hmm.
creatures, or enchantments. So the only thing that gets around Grand Abolisher is an Odorara, which is a land that lets you bounce things because it uses Channel, which is an ability from a land, which is not mentioned on here, or Boseiju,
Yep.
where it'll destroy a land or an artifact or an enchantment. So, yeah, very, very powerful. Other one shots. Uh, this card is like 30 cents. The right side is the most important part. You might have to
Yep.
turn your head because I don't know how to make it horizontal. Double your life total. Target opponent loses half their life rounded up. So it does two things.
And the card I
It'll
mentioned is Revenge. Revenge
revenge.
Revival.
Revenge revival. Yeah. So revival, it's a half card, like, or, a double sided, or not double sided card. It has two sides on it. Well,
Hmm.
that's not double sided. There's double sided flip side. What is this called?
That's a
What
good
is it called when
question. I'm not sure off the top of my head what these are called. Um,
it's on the same side, so it's not double
I
sided.
just call them dual face cards.
Dual face cards. Okay, that's a good way to put it. So there is another card you can play. It's called Beacon of Immortality. It's the same mana cost, I believe, but it's 2 whites instead of 4 and a white and a black. Um, I don't play it. You could play both. I don't think it's a bad idea to play both. I play this because it's better. The thing about Beacon of Immortality is when you cast it, it shuffles back into your deck. So you can keep playing it. But I don't play tutors. So the chances of me seeing it again aren't very high. So I don't really value that part of it. Uh, this is actually better though, because not only does it double your life total, it gives you a secondary effect that happens at the same time because it has to fully resolve, where another target opponent loses their life rounded up. So this is a game ender. So what you do is you double your life, you have someone else already,
Shoot them for the difference.
um, and then you can shoot them for the difference because you're going to gain double your life. So if you're at 50 life, you're going to be able to shoot someone for 50. But normally what you're going to do is you're going to shoot someone and kill them, and then the other person has half their life already. If you have something like a veto or an enduring tenacity or a sanguine bond. I don't play the infinites in here, by the way. I don't play exquisite blood. It was boring to win that way. So no cares, bloodthirsty conqueror and no exquisite blood. I only played this half of the infinite life gain combo. If you don't know what it is, if you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. The other half says if someone loses life, you gain that much life. It goes infinite. You know, you gain life, you lose life, you gain life, you lose life. I only played this half of it. So if you played this while this is out, on the stack, well, first you have to resolve this. So you're going to gain double your life and someone's going to lose half their life. Then this trigger is going to go on the stack because you gain double your life. So let's say you gain 42 life. You can target someone for 42 life. Usually it's going to kill them. And then you kill a second person with Serene having gained life and then pointing a gun at them. And then the only person left at the table is the person who just had their life cut in half.
Hmm.
Pretty good game ender. An absolute game ender is this good card, which is also like 50 cents. You could give a creature lifelink, which is really cool if you have something like a 30/30 Karlov of the Ghost Council out. You can pay 3 mana and give him lifelink. But the most important part is the bottom ability. And the cool thing is you can do this at instant speed. So whenever you gain life this turn, each opponent loses that much life. So you can activate that ability or cast this and then hold priority and activate it. Either way, it's fine. As soon as you gain the life, it goes on the stack that everyone's about to take 42 damage.
Hmm.
And it's each opponent loses that much life. So again, it gets around protection effects like One Ring. It doesn't get around Teferi's protection because it says your life total can't change. But yeah, these are your game enders. Obviously, you have Aetherflux Reservoir, and you can get into it with Bolas Citadel. I don't play Sensei's Divining Top to make this go infinite. If you don't understand how this works, you play off the top of your deck using life, which is great because we have a lot of life. The only thing that stops this is running into a land. So when you play Bolas Citadel, you want to make sure that you haven't played land for turn so that you can play the top land. And then if you hit another land, okay, cool. But if you play Sensei's Divining Top, what that says is you tap Sensei's, you replace the top card with Sensei's Divining Top, and then you can just pay for Sensei's Divining Top, and you go infinite. You go through your deck, and then eventually you hit Aetherflux Reservoir, which gains you life for everything that you've cast this turn. So 1 life, and then 2 life, and then 3 life, 4 life, etc. And then if you just pay 50 life and shoot someone. So Serene is kind of an Aetherflux, but instead of paying with the life you have, you pay with the life you've gained. But you can see how these start to add up, right? So you have a Serene, you have an Aetherflux, you have a Children of Corliss.
One thing that a
So
lot of
let's
people look over, by the way, with Aetherflux while you're on that subject is Aetherflux will check retrospectively. So if you cast it after you've already cast like 6 spells, your next spell is going to gain you like 7 life. Aetherflux
correct.
doesn't have to see all those spells being cast. So if you could
It's
put Bola
essentially the
Citadel out
storm
there,
mechanic.
it is a storm mechanic essentially. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. So if you're at Bola Citadel out and you're looking for a card and you're on like your 10th card you've cast, somehow you haven't hit a land. Or if you're just playing the Sensei's Divining Top and you're playing that infinite combo like a douchebag, uh, you eventually find the Aetherflux, you cast it, it's got X amount storm for all the spells you've cast, and then you win the game.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't realize that card checks the game state to see how many spells you've already cast this turn.
Yeah. Yeah. So if Aetherflux is your 10th spell, after that, if you cast more, it'll check that you've already cast 10. So you'll gain 11 life for that next cast, and then 12. Um, but you can see how Aetherflux Reservoir, you pay 50 life, you shoot someone for 50. Then let's say someone deflecting swats it back to you. Okay, cool. I have Children of Corliss. I'll just sack it and gain the 50 life that I spent to pay for the kill. And then what you can do is you don't just let that damage happen. Here's what you do. So let's say you Aetherflux someone and you have 2 life left, and someone goes deflecting swat. Matt says deflecting swat, and he pays it for free because he has his commander out because he's cheeky. And I go, okay, cool. In response, I'm going to sack Children of Corliss. Does that resolve? Okay, I gain my 50 life back. I'm back at 52. It's a very risky Aetherflux. I activate Aetherflux Reservoir with
Yep.
your deflecting SWAT still on the stack. If you kill someone, everything on the stack of theirs disappears. Because if you just take the 50 damage and then tank it, you're at 2. But now he's dead. You're at 2,
Mhm.
but he's dead. Much better. So these are your one-shot mechanics. Obviously, you have all of the double life gains. So Boon Reflection, Wind Crystal that came out with the Final Fantasy set. You want to put that in there. Where's the elephant guy?
Faith Rocksmender.
Faith, right? Yeah, Rock's Faith Mender.
I said it backwards.
It's okay. Yes, I do. He's also if you gain life, you gain twice that much life. These are actually really, really clutch when you have like a Soul Sister out. So every time something comes down on the board, you're gaining 2 life, not 1. Authority of Council is probably one of the best opening hands. This is probably, I can't imagine a better opening hand than this. Authority of the
Sarah's send it in
Council,
there too.
Store Warden, Karlov. Oh yeah, this would be ridiculous. You're winning on turn 5 with this. This guy is going to be like a 30-30 by like turn 3 or whatever.
Mhm.
And then if you add like this in, Sarah Senin is swinging for 6 and gaining you 6 life. And then if Serene is coming out and shooting people on turn 3 for 6, so you swing on them for 6, you gain 6 life, and then you shoot them for 6, people are not going to last long, right? Amalia is very, very amazing. She was very busted in Pioneer. She actually got banned in Pioneer because I was playing against it, and it was absolutely broken. Essentially, people would play this other card that says when you explore, you gain life, which would then trigger Amalia. So it goes back and forth. And then once she hits 20 power, she wipes the board. If you don't know what explore is, it's amazing, especially for this deck, because Orzhov's biggest problem is ramping, so having the mana to do all of this, and drawing cards, because you're not really in the colors that draw you a lot of cards. And we're not playing tutors. So,
Speaking of ramp, you should tell them about the card that I didn't know, Arcumancer's
oh,
map. Yeah.
it's amazing.
And
It's
everyone should be
it's
playing this if you're in a mono white or even like at least a two color deck, 3 color decks. I don't know if I would play it, but 2 color decks in mono white, everybody should be playing Arcumancer's map.
yeah, yeah. I mean, mono white or Orzhov. This is you. You do not play this. So you do find 2 planes, which is great, right? Because the weakness of this deck is getting lands. But the most important part is the bottom. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player controls more lands than you, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So it's a trigger. So if you're playing against a green guy and he's at 8 lands on turn 4 and you're at 4 lands, but you have 2 planes in your hand because you search for them, cool. He puts a land down, you put a land down because he has more lands than you. If he starts ramping and he puts 3 lands down, you can put 3 lands down. As long as he's ahead of you, you can react to any, it's a landfall trigger, basically, but for you with other people's landfalls. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing card. You should not play white without this. Um, but Amalia with like a Soul Warden, she'll be a 2020 by not that long. And Explore, what it does is it says, look at the top card of your deck, or reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a land, put it in your hand. It gives you lands for free. If it's a non-land card, the creature that is exploring can get a 1/1 counter. So that's how she gets bigger power. Is every time you hit a non-land, you put a 1/1 counter. Then it gives you a surveil, which means you either keep it on top or you put it in the graveyard. So you can sculpt the top of your deck. So if you have Soul Warden and Amalia, you're getting lands in your hand, you're sculpting the top card of your deck, and you're putting things you don't care about in the graveyard, or you're keeping them on top. And so you know exactly what you're gonna get. So
She's also
this is
getting
an
bigger the
amazing
entire
card.
time.
She's a big old bitch. She is gonna be huge. Um, and the Ward 3 life is nice. It's not the best, but it's nice for a 2 cost. So those are the big one shots. You have some fancy stuff like Tree of Perdition. So you change an opponent's life with the life of a Tree of Perdition, the toughness of it, so you can make someone's life 13
Yeah.
once this loses summoning sickness. And then you can do some other fancy stuff like this, which is kind of like Children of Corliss, but for everyone. So Children of Corliss is only how much life you've lost this turn. Tainted Sigil is gain life equal to the total life lost by all players. So you can do some amazing things with this. You can Tree of Perdition, bring someone to 13 life. Then let's say they were at 40. They lost 27 life technically, because in order to exchange that life, they have to lose 27 life. You crack this bad boy, you gain 27 life. Then you shoot someone for 27, which will definitely kill the person you just made.
Mid 13.
um, you can let's see what other fancy stuff you can do. Oh, the original Sorin Markov. You can just make someone's life 10. This is a very you can play this with this.
And it's so
So you play
ridiculous they can do it as soon as you cast him too.
and people can't stop it. So if you don't know, this is very important. And a lot of people don't know how to play Magic. I'll just be very honest with you. People don't know how to pronounce Serene, and they don't know how to play Magic. So if you cast this bad boy, right? Someone says, "Oh, I exile it with anguished unmaking," right? They want to get rid of it.
Or they try to lightning
They
bolt it.
Yeah, they can't do that because that's not how priority works. If I play Serene Markov and he hits the field, other players do not get priority. They have to respond to me doing something like activating the -3, target opponent's life total becomes 10.
Right. The
But if
only
it's
way
on
for
the
them to
stack,
stop it is they have to stop it while it's a cast. It's a spell, not
correct, correct,
while it's a permanent.
correct. Because this is something most people don't understand. If I play this down, people will go, "Oh, in response to it entering the battlefield." No, ETB triggers pass priority. But if something does not have when this enters the battlefield, whenever another creature enters, you gain 1 life. That's an ETB trigger. So if something enters and then it triggers this, then you can respond to that. But this does not have an ETB trigger. So it entering the battlefield does not pass priority. So you put this down, you're allowed to activate it. It would make Planeswalkers far worse if that's not how priority worked. Same thing with Bola Citadel. If you play Bola Citadel, it's a game ender. People are like, "Oh, I'm going to Crozin's Grip it," right? Which is a split second, I'm going to destroy it.
Mhm.
You're allowed to at least cast one thing off the top of your deck before they can respond to it.
Of
And
course.
then if there's an instant on top of your deck after that first cast, you can respond to that by going on the stack. So make sure you understand priority when you're playing this deck. It's very important because you're not in the most interactive colors, right? You're going to be playing against fucking blue players who are going to be trying to counter everything. So you very much need to understand how priority works.
Well, now I take offense to that.
Yeah, hey, my CEDH deck is pinning. I play Civic, but um, you have to know how priority works, and you have to know how the stack works,
Of course.
because people are going to be going over you, and you're going to need to know how to react to things.
And one thing I'll say is
Um,
if you guys are enjoying, this in-depth, demonstration of how this deck works, we're going to do some other things on this channel in the future with some future episodes, and we're probably going to have an episode where we talk and go a little more in depth about, priority and how to manipulate that. It probably won't be a very long video because it's not a lot of information to go over, but stay tuned. Make sure you guys, follow us for future releases.
yeah, and just as a quick primer, very simple. If I cast something and someone responds to it, priority goes back to the active player. So if it's my turn, I cast something, someone responds, like let's say they counter it, someone else can't respond yet. It goes back to me. So it goes back on the beginning of the train every time something is cast. Active player gets priority again. This is something you learn playing CDH where the stack is like 20 spells long. Very important because people like to double up on things. Like he counters it. Oh, and then this guy says, well, I'm going to also shoot this thing that you have on the board. They can't do that. You get to respond first. Play interaction. Stroke My Dick at Midnight is a great card. Okay. It's called Stroke of Midnight, but you know, I'd rather stroke my dick at midnight. So it destroys non-land permanents, which is great. You can take out things that you don't like on the board. Generous Gift, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile. Play all of these.
So
I
one thing
even play
that's
this.
kind of funny about what the Stroke of Midnight is the second half of that ability says, destroy non-target non-land permanent. It gives them a 1/1 white human creature token whenever you destroy it. If you have like one of your soul sisters or something out there and you need a way to flip your guy into a planeswalker, Sorin into a planeswalker, if you only need 2 life to do it, you destroy that, gives them a creature, enters, you get 2 life.
Yeah. It'll 1 life. You need 2 soul.
That's why I was saying if you had a soul sister out there, you would
Oh,
get
if
2.
you have 2 already, you need 1. Oh, I understand. If you need 3 cumulative. Yeah. Exactly. So you can do some really fancy stuff with it. Yeah. I even play this. This is not the best card, but for this deck, it's very important. There's one. I actually have this card in for a lot of reasons, but there's one specific card called Erebos, God of the Dead, and it's a indestructible legendary enchantment that doesn't become a creature unless someone has enough loyalty or devotion to black. But it says your opponents can't gain life. It literally just shuts down this deck completely. So I have this in the deck simply for that card, but also for exiling anything I don't like. Let's see. Bloodchief Ascension is just great. It'll make you the target, but it's a great card. This is a sneaky fucking card. Okay. So this, people will pay attention to the +2 and the -X, which are garbage. They're not really that good. I don't play it for that. I play it
The
for the static effect.
the card I mentioned is Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord.
Oh, Serene Vengeful Blood. Oh, yeah, for the people not watching the video, for the people
Yeah,
on podcast.
yeah,
It says, as long as it's your turn, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink.
busted.
Pretty good.
It's busted.
Because guess what? Serene now has lifelink.
Yeah.
That's why it's important that it says Serene Ravenous Neonate deals damage equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. So let's say you gain 40 life. You shoot someone with Serene. Serene is doing 40 damage to someone. Congratulations, you just gained another 40 life.
And if you've got Veto out there and you can redirect that twice, it's just absolutely nasty.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm plus 80 life and 2 people are dead. Have fun killing me.
Yep.
Yeah. So some more combinations that I haven't gone over yet that you can do in here, but that's pretty much the main way is you're one-shotting people. You're gaining life. There's some control in here. All the removal, Toxic Deluge. I play Farewell. I play the Spanish version. It literally says adios, which is amazing. You're playing Silences, these 2 Silences. You're playing Grand Abolisher. So it is a bit controlling. I'm thinking of adding in No Mercy, which is when a creature deals combat damage to you, it dies. So
It's
it keeps
crazy.
people from swinging on you just ever. They have to go for 1-shots or else they're going to lose the thing swinging at you. Mr. Negative is an experimental ad. He can gain you a lot of cards, and if you do something like Children of Corliss, so let's say you have 80 life, you swap with someone who has 30, you're going to draw half your deck, 50 cards. Then you use Children of Corliss and you go back. Now that person has 80 life, but that's not the biggest problem in the world. You can still kill them. But you did just draw half your deck, which is definitely going to give you what you need to take the person who just had 80 life given to them.
Well, the opposite side of that too is if you're above 50 life, you pay the 50 life for Aetherflux, put yourself down to 1. You swap your life with them, put them down to 1.
Correct. And then Serene finishes the job. Or just Aetherflux again. Yeah.
Yep, something.
Yep. So a lot of fun stuff here. A lot of fun stuff. I've actually, let's go back to the normal Ox field. I took out 2 things since our first attempt to record this video that suspiciously was
It didn't work.
it didn't work. I decided to bring the total land count back to 38. 36 normal and then 38 including MDFCs, which if you don't know what that means, it means flip card. And the MDFs, the link for the deck list is obviously going to be in the description and in a
Of
comment.
course.
The biggest problem with this deck is getting the mana. The only times I lose with this deck is usually I didn't have enough mana to win on that turn. And I was only 1 or 2 mana away. So play 38 lands. I highly recommend it. I am experimenting with Gwenom Remorseless. She is essentially a Bolas Citadel, but as a creature. And she has Death Touch and Lifelink built in, and she's even one less than Bolas Citadel, and only requires 2 black pips, which, like I said, sometimes you don't have the mana you need. This might make the difference. I've optimized this deck pretty hard. I would say the only things I might take out are Crested Sunmare. It's only really good if you have a Soul Sister out, so every time a creature's coming down on someone's turn, you're going to make a 5/5 white horse every turn, which is great if you can pull it off. But if you don't have something like that, you might be kind of wasting 5 mana. Gaffer can be really good, again, if you can be drawing cards on other people's turns because of a Soul Sister or an Extort. These are kind of hit or miss. They're very situational, but the rest of this is just it's a no-brainer. I play all of the board wipes that get around indestructible, so sacking, exiling, -X. I play Night's Whisper just to draw some cards, because that's the other bad part of this about this deck, is drawing cards. I used to play stuff like Necropotence, but it just felt unfair. It also goes infinite with Bolas Citadel. And here's the other life doubler, Alhamrad's Archive. Black Market Connections, great card. Blind Obedience gives you an extort. So if you have Serene and this, you can extort twice on every spell.
That's
Each
gross.
extort source gives you an ability to do extra extorts. This is a sneaky great card. Play this 100%. Name Serene, so all of your planeswalkers that are Serenes get protected, right? They all have hexproof. And if you control a creature, any damage that someone does to Serene can't go below 1. The only thing that can kill your planeswalkers at that point is a direct destroy target, planeswalker or non-land permanent.
The card I mentioned is Deification.
Deification. It's a very pretty art. I like it. Trouble in Pairs. This will help you draw some cards. You can even play Mangara the Diplomat. What's it called again? The normal card. I know Mangara is the Final Fantasy version. I just put it down. What happened?
I'm not seeing it.
Mangara the Diplomat.
Oh, there
right
it is.
here. Oh, that is the name. What am I thinking of?
Oh.
Who's the Final Fantasy? Oh, the Minwu, the Rebellion Strategist. Yeah. Mangara the Diplomat. You can play that in here too. It has lifelink. It wouldn't be a bad ad, to be honest. The only thing I would cut at this point right now, just looking at this, is Crested Sunmare. Actually, you know what? I really think you should actually add Mangara the Diplomat. You should use the Final Fantasy version because it's pretty. I would definitely advise that. Gaffer would be the next thing I would cut. Everything else is just absolutely just great. I mean, Gary is so good. Teferi's Protection, Dawn's Truce, protect your shit. This, don't use it to gain life. You're never going to have enough mana to make it worth anything, unless you have a life doubler. If you have a life doubler and you can make it give you like 16 life, okay. You use this to get rid of artifacts and enchantments. X equals 3, okay. Fuck your Rhystic Study, fuck your Smothering Tithe. That's what you use this for. So yeah. Any other comments, Matt? Any reasons why you hate this deck?
Nah, I don't hate the deck. If if you didn't play it so often, I'd probably build it myself. I would probably play it a little bit differently, just from my standpoint, because I like to play a more control-y type of rather than shooting everybody, outright. I would play a couple more control cards. Like I might put something in there. What's the one that makes this up? Whenever people attack you, they have to pay X amount to equal the number of enchantments you control. Ghostly Prison, I think, is what it is. Essentially just
Ghostly
plays.
Prison is pay 2 for every creature attacking you.
Right, and then there's the other one that's just like Ghostly Prison, but it makes it so for all artifacts and enchantments you control, they have to pay 1 per each one when they're attacking you. And then I would essentially play more, artifacts and enchantments in it and make it
you can also play. I did think about adding this. Cock Falls. One second.
Is that right?
1 second. I'm thinking about adding this too. Coon Falls. Sorry, I call it Cocksun Falls. Did you know that Black has a Ghostly Prison?
Look at that. During your upkeep, Go ahead.
Target untapped creature you control. No creature can attack you unless its controller pays an additional 2 for whenever creature attacks.
Huh.
But you do have to. The upkeep is that you have to tap an untapped creature you have.
Which isn't awful.
Isn't awful. Isn't awful. It's not a creature heavy deck. I mean, there's 27 creatures, but when you actually play it, you're gonna see it's not creature heavy.
Yeah.
But you can do that.
Yeah.
But you can also play Ghostly Prison. No, I don't think.
And the reason I would do
We're
that
bad
is
at.
the reason that I would do that is play those cards that make people pay those taxes in order to attack me, is it makes it harder for them to get through with too many creatures going at Serene. So it's like an added protection for them because they have to pay that extra to attack your planeswalkers.
Oh, wait, was Coxon Falls ever errata for planeswalkers? Because I know, does Ghostly Prison mention planeswalkers? Let's see.
I think it's just
No, it's
oh,
just
so
you.
they don't have to pay for attacking your planeswalkers then?
No.
Oh, look at that, learn something
Yeah.
new.
It makes it a little weaker, yeah. These aren't bad. But I just prefer to fucking kill people.
That's fair.
So,
That's fair.
you could consider Coxon Falls. It's been errated by Big D Forte to say Coxon Falls because it's funny.
But yeah,
This
I think
guy is cuttable. He's cuttable, but I like it because it's fucking pretty. It's got anime art.
it's a very
You're
cool
never gonna
looking
get to
card.
that ultimate. It helps you build up a wall with the vampires, and it helps you draw cards. It's essentially a dark confidant, but as a planeswalker. You could cut this though. So this cut, Gaffer cut, um, maybe Night's Whisper you can cut if you want to add something else. I wouldn't cut anything else to be honest. I'd say if you wanted to experiment with cutting those 3, maybe Mr. Negative is very very niche,
Mhm.
but I haven't been able to do it yet. I might do it and go, oh my god, this is amazing, or I might be like, all right, 7 mana is not worth it. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think
So
you
yeah,
covered just about all of it. Definitely a solid deck, and I look forward to seeing what people say as they start to play it.
yeah.
Uh,
Excited
you,
to see what you guys think.
you got anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. Good luck with it. Have fun. Your friends are gonna hate you.
Agreed. As someone who sits across the table from him very often and gets shot by this very often, you will indeed get some hate for it. But it is a very fun deck. It's one of those decks where I would say it's easy to pilot, difficult to master. So spend some time learning your lines whenever you're playing it. And guess we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.